Okay, we'd like to call to order the Paramount Planning Commission meeting for August 10th, 2021. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of members, please.
Commissioner Abrego, Commissioner Esparza,
Here.
Vice Chair Gutierrez, Chair Weisenberger.
Here. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Commissioner Abrego.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza,
Here.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, let's move to item number 1, approval of minutes from the July 13th meeting. Okay, we need a motion to approve.
Continue.
Go ahead.
Continue, right?
Yeah, we're going to continue.
Yes. It's recommended you continue this item to your next meeting.
Well, that's right.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
If we could have a motion and a
Motion to
vote.
continue.
Okay. So we need a motion to extend this to approval of minutes to our next
September.
meeting in September. Very good. Okay, we need a motion for that, Joe.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll motion to extend the approval of the minutes until the next meeting.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay. Any public comments tonight?
Not general public comments.
Okay. All right, new business. Let's move on then to public hearings. Agenda item number 2. Okay. This is a conditional use permit number 908. This is a request by Satwinder, Singh and Baccaron, LLC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, to operate a restaurant with indoor customer seating and vehicle drive-through service at 7803 Alondra Boulevard in the CM Commercial Manufacturing Zone. Report, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and Commissioners. This item is a conditional use permit to allow a restaurant with a drive-through at the northeast corner of Alondra Boulevard and Vermont Avenue. The project also includes a development review application to be heard later this evening by the Development Review Board. The property has been vacant for many years, and the proposed project will make a big physical improvement to this area of the city. And John King will go into more detail for you.
Thank you, John. And thank you, Commission Chair and Commissioners. So this is an application essentially by a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee. You know, we've had Kentucky Fried Chicken in town, but at a different location. But that owner retired and sold the business. Didn't sell the property, but sold the business, and so there is a void in the Kentucky Fried Chicken area. So this is a request for a different location to operate a fast food restaurant with indoor customer seating and vehicle drive-through service. Again, it's at 7803 Alondra Boulevard. This is the northeast corner of Alondra and Vermont Avenue. It's been, as John mentioned, it's been vacant for many years. I believe the most recent tenant was Rex West way back in 2008, 2009, and that was a auto body shop or of that type. It's in the CM zone, commercial manufacturing, and the site is 14,855 square feet. The proposed building is 2,100 square feet. They're proposing 22 seats, 22 indoor customer seats, no outdoor seating is proposed. They would have a staff of up to 13 employees, and that's the total staff. Most of those would be part-time workers, aside from management. And so they would not be working at the same time, all the same shift. These would be staggered throughout their days and hours. They're proposing 8 parking spaces, and that meets the code requirement for 1 parking space for every 3 customer seats. Of those 8, 1 would be a compliant with the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, federal and state. The drive-through is proposed mostly along the rear of the site, and I'll show you a site plan in a moment to put it all together. And that would allow for an 11 or 12 vehicle queue. And I say 11 to 12, we'll just say 11. It just depends on the size of the cars and how close they get to each other. So let's just say 11. Mondays, they'd operate Mondays through Sundays, so every day of the week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So a 12-hour operation. This next slide is an aerial photo. It's showing the site at, again, northeast of Vermont and Alondra. The property is outlined in red, and it's across the street just to the north of the Heinz DES Portuguese Hall. Here's the next slide is a photo looking to the northeast, and you'll see the conditions. This is just from a few days ago. You'll see a really high wall, 8 to 10 feet high, and slumpstone block, which would be removed as part of this project. The applicant is looking for visibility, and in terms of public safety, where the city supports dismantling that fortress of a wall. You'll see there's at the corner, there's a pole sign, which the city routinely approved in the 1960s and 1970s. But since then, they have been, we don't approve pole signs anymore, so there's a condition of approval to remove that structure, and they would want to replace it with a monument sign, which is one of those freestanding signs about 6 feet high. Here's the site plan. So you'll see Alondra at the bottom running east and west, and on the left side is Vermont running north and south, and on the opposite side is an alley. You see that this would have, you can kind of count the cars. There's 12 cars leading off the proposed driveway off Alondra, wrapping around the building, mostly to the rear. And there's the existing driveway off of Vermont Avenue. This scheme has been reviewed by the Public Works Department and the city engineer. And there was a previous plan that did not quite meet the city engineer's standards. And we worked with the applicant modified the plans. And this plan does meet the city engineer's criteria. And one of the big things to think about that we've been looking at, is the drive-through and any impacts. What we don't want, obviously, is for the cars to trail off into the public rights of way to be a traffic hazard. We don't want cars spilling over into Alondra Boulevard or other streets. And we've seen that. You've seen that in other cities, very popular restaurants, and even in the era of COVID-19, when we were not able to dine indoors, there was definitely an uptick in drive-through service at other restaurants. And so we recognize that, but looking ahead, we just don't want any spillover effects into the public rights of way. It's a traffic hazard. It can be dangerous. And then it puts the onus on the city. We want this operation, like all, to be contained within the private property. So you'll see some of the elements that were updated, we have these yellow circles. The applicant updated the site plan to meet the city engineer's criteria to extend the area between the menu board and the pickup window. So the first circle, you can kind of see at the northeast corner, that's the menu board. There's a number, actually on the opposite side, there's a number 13, which is the where you order. You pull up an order, and you can see from there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars ahead of that during, if kind of the peak level, and if it's really popular, that gives time for the order preparation for the employees to prepare quickly and manage the traffic lane. So that's where we'll move on to the next slide, and which is the floor plan. On the right side, this is still the same alignment with basically Alondra on the bottom to the south. There's in this view there are 22 seats proposed, or actually 23 here. They could go up to 24 and still comply with the proposed parking number. And you can see on the very left, it's of this is the drive-through window, the pickup. We did, and the applicant was fine with this. We contracted with a independent planning firm Blage-Belosis Environmental Planning to do a detailed environmental analysis with the guidance of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. And it's very thorough as through law, and tackles the number of issues as required by law, and very specific to this proposal. All in all, the bottom line is the study determined that the project would not result in a significant impact on the environment. And to do that, a mitigated negative declaration and mitigation and monitoring program are recommended for your review and approval. So with those mitigations, they would bring this into the not a significant impact category. And with that, staff feels comfortable with recommending approval. Again, mitigations are recommended, and those for two specific categories: cultural resource impacts and transportation impacts. So just to go through some of the key issues, aesthetics, the structure would not obstruct views north to the mountains. New lighting would be shielded and directed downward. That's to not disturb the neighboring properties. Air quality, we know that's an issue for this part of the county, the Los Angeles basin. Part of the study, a very detailed look at the operations, the construction. Back it up to the construction of the building, the project, and the ongoing operations once it's finished, and determined that daily emissions would not exceed the AQMD thresholds. There is a condition recommended that would require the applicant to comply with Rule 403, AQMD Rule 403. Basically, that's efforts to reduce any dust that comes up with any construction project. So they have to implement dust control measures as they construct the building. There's a condition also recommended for trees to be planted on site. We are a Tree City, USA, and for a long time, trees have been a priority, particularly in the central business district. And as we also know, trees do a great job at absorbing some of those particulates and dust. Cultural resources. So the project is considered to be in an area of high archaeological significance. And I mentioned there's two mitigations: transportation and cultural resources. This is where this comes into play. The mitigation is required to obtain the services of a qualified Native American monitor during construction. And there's a very specific list of qualified tribal consultants. And that's, if any remains are discovered, there's a whole process involved in that. So in terms of traffic, bottom line, impacts are considered to be less than significant, and with the mitigations, the recommended is, there is a recommendation for them to install 2 bicycle racks on top of everything, meeting the city's goals for active transportation and healthy living. Again, the drive-through stacking capacity has capacity for about 11 vehicles, more than adequate to meet the demand. We're quite impressed, satisfying the city engineer, and ensuring the drive-through traffic does not disrupt ingress at Alondra. I'll actually read the mitigation word for word. The drive-through lane traffic must not interfere with vehicles moving onto the property from the westbound lanes of Alondra Boulevard. Painted lettering and/or other signage must be provided near the drive-through lane approach stating "Do not block traffic." In the event the slowing of the drive-through lane ordering leads to congestion that could affect the Alondra Boulevard driveway, the drive-through lane must be closed until such time traffic can freely move onto the site from Alondra Boulevard. The management must make provisions so that delayed orders at the pickup window be moved elsewhere on site so other window pickups can proceed in a timely fashion. So with that, again, we feel comfortable with recommending approval. The restaurant is in a commercial zone. We mentioned commercial manufacturing. It's been vacant for years, getting up to decades, really, and the project will complement recent changes to the central business district and more specifically downtown Paramount. This is on the western end of this downtown area, and this would be a good addition to what the city's accomplished through the years. Conditions of approval on the design will ensure that the impacts on the public streets are addressed. And with that, we're recommending approval. The applicant is here in the audience. If you have any questions for the applicant that I cannot answer, and the consultant who prepared the environmental study is also with us in the audience, and his name's Mark Blodgett.
Thank you, John. Let's move to item B, open of public hearings. Okay, we have any testimonies today?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we don't have anybody wishing to speak in favor. We do have one request from an audience member to speak in opposition, and then we have one email in opposition that I would read into the record. So if we want to do the person in the audience right now, that would be Susanna Alcaraz.
That'll be fine.
So if you would like to come up right now, and can you turn the mic on, John? The mic on them.
I think so, yeah, sure.
John, three minutes.
Good evening, City of Paramount Council Chamber members. My name is Susana Alcaraz. I live at 15915 Colorado Avenue. And I would like to appeal to your better nature and the interest of public health, which was not spoken in with what they were talking about earlier. Of course, I'm a no on the KFC on Vermont and Alondra. It's not a good option. Obesity is a growing epidemic that is just getting worse and worse over time, and this is currently fueling our current pandemic. High-calorie, non-nutrition dense food only adds to this, and it's so sad that it's always the low-income minority communities are the ones that are targeted by these fast food chains. And it's not like we're in need of another fast food chain. We're in walking distance from Northgate where we could pick up fresh fruits and vegetables. So we're not in a food desert, what they would call it. And aesthetically, for the city of Paramount, I believe it would just bring more trash. I live on a street where people like to park and eat their food. I'm fine with that. But they also like to open their doors once they're done and leave their trash. And so then I go out and pick it up and throw it away. So I just feel this is going to just encourage that. Traffic. Alondra Boulevard is like NASCAR. These modified mufflers, and just go up and down. This is going to cause more traffic. And I also wanted to mention, there was a KFC before. There was a KFC where there's currently a Starbucks. I realized the person that owned it, or that owned that franchise, retired. But before retiring, that it wasn't popular. It was always vacant. So I don't see where this one is going to thrive when it's further down away from downtown. And then the smell. I don't want to open my backyard, go into my backyard and just smell fried chicken all the time, all day, every day. And so, and I just want to reiterate what Paramount's vision is a city that is safe, healthy, and attractive. And I feel that if you permit KFC, it's going to go against what Paramount vision is. So I just think we need better options. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Chair, I have the one email that I'll read into the record,
Thank you.
and then we'll have a rebuttal from the applicant if
Great.
they would like to. Okay.
Thank you, John.
So this is what we received from resident Mike Radis, and he says, "Good evening, Planning Commission, City Council, and City staff. Please deny proposed CUP number 908. The proposed use at 15750 Vermont Avenue, aka 7803 Alondra Boulevard, will be disruptive and an overall negative impact to the area in more than one way. Several of my neighbors on Vermont Avenue and neighboring Colorado Avenue have expressed the same concerns I have about noise, traffic, safety, and possible effects on our property values. The property is very low impact in its current unused state, and if allowed to be developed in the manner proposed, will have a significant impact on the surrounding area. The added driveway and new traffic will be disruptive to Vermont Avenue and Alondra Avenue. Other existing drive-through restaurants along Alondra cause significant backups that block whole lanes, causing road hazards, block adjacent alleyways, and access to and from neighboring businesses' driveways. The very near and new Starbucks location and Tam's restaurants are most definitely having effects on the road. The prevailing speed of the road, mixed with the dead stopped vehicles, creates a major safety hazard. Cars often speed up to cut off other drivers rather than slowing down to get around the backup. I expect the proposed KFC restaurant to do the same. Litter is a huge problem in our neighborhood already, and the operation of a new fast food restaurant will only add to the issues. Many discourteous diners like to eat their food and leave trash behind in the parking lots and gutters of the neighborhood. I expect there will be a significant amount of added KFC trash, including bags, napkins, food waste, etc., strewn around the lot and immediate area around the restaurant. Added noise pollution will be generated by customers coming and going, and the drive-through order speaker. Overall, I believe the proposed project will be a detriment to the immediate area and the city as a whole, and ask that you please deny the application. Thank you, Mike Radis. And then if the applicant would like to have a rebuttal to the people who spoke in opposition, if you'd like to come up and.
I mean, we are excited about this
Oh, could
project.
you, state your name and address.
Sure, my name is Satwinder Singh, and we been working on it for a while on this project. And I heard that email concern or the other person concerned. I mean, trash around our restaurant. You know, we check our parking lot every 2 hours, so there's not going to be any trash. And also, we sell a grilled chicken, which is healthy food, and I don't think the neighbors will be smelling fried chicken all day. So I'm hoping that you guys allow us to put KFC here. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments?
Commissioner Gutierrez, I do have a comment and a question before we close the open hearing. They brought up a good point regarding the trash, and I know some fast food chains do a really good job with trash bins, In-N-Out being one of them. In the parking lot, there's trash bins everywhere. I didn't pay attention to the diagram at the time, but is there any trash receptacles or bins that are going to be in the parking lot that are as a requirement of the permit?
That is a good point, and we have conditioned that in the past, and to be honest, we just did not in this case. So with your recommendation,
I would like to
definitely
recommend to
include that.
at least have, it might sound excessive, they don't have to be big ones, but at least 3 or 4. If you go to In-N-Out, you see that there's probably like 8 or 10 of them. I'm not saying that everybody's lazy, but a lot of people tend to be lazy. If there's one that maybe 5-6 feet reach, maybe they'll put it. Because, yeah, I agree with one of the rebuttals. People tend to just open their door and drop trash. So if we can make that a condition of the permit, that would be great.
Yes, no problem. And I apologize for not including that. So it would be something along the lines of trash receptacles shall be installed within the outdoor facilities at the review and direction of the planning department in terms
Yeah,
of.
I do remember the old KFC just had one trash bin outside.
That was a
If
problem.
they can make a few more, that would be great.
Right.
And one more, I guess this would be a question about the traffic. So actually, I think 11 vehicles is pretty good because I don't think any of the drive-thrus right now have that many vehicles in capacity. But let's say the traffic does hit to Alondra Boulevard. I believe you said that the establishment was required to close the drive-thru?
They just have to close service, and they'd have to make that clear and do that in practical terms. So it's not a traffic hazard. So basically, have an employee out on the street just flagging people to keep driving that it's
yeah.
closed.
Or I was thinking like some
So
poems, right? With the like, hey,
We-
the drive-thru closed.
Yes, we'll work with them on a specific protocol, but we do have that guidance from the document.
Okay, that would be good.
So, John, regarding the traffic deal, so it's just going to be in the owners or the people that are on staff, their management, to keep an eye out and look out the window and see if traffic is backing up, and then send somebody out there to flag them to keep driving. Is that? I mean, how exactly is that going to work?
Yes, they are obligated to. We did as staff. We took a look at a number of KFCs that are in operation in other surrounding cities. We didn't see a present huge demand, but granted, we may not have been looking at all hours of the day, all days of the week. We really wanted to respond to the city engineer's worst case scenario response. So it's kind of like, I'll just give you an off example. A large, let's say we have two very large retail stores in Paramount. They have very large parking lots. They're typically not full, but we did require them to have these large parking lots because at the peak during the holiday season, they need to have those parking spaces. So it's kind of the equivalent thought, just to have to prepare for that worst case scenario.
Okay. All right, so any other comments here? Okay, then we're going to need to have a motion to close the public hearings.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza, Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Present.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, now we need to have, we need to adopt a mitigated negative declaration with a mitigation monitoring program relative to the conditional use permit. And this number 908. So we need a motion to adopt this, gentlemen.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and motion that. Approve that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. That moves us to the item number F here, motion in order, read by title only, to waive the further reading and adopt the Planning Commission Resolution number PC 21016, approving this request. Okay, we need a motion to approve. That's the
This is Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and motion to approve.
I'll second it.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Esparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, just for clarification on the motion to approve, that also goes with Commissioner Gutierrez's recommendations regarding the trash bins, correct?
Yes.
That would be included in that motion
Yes.
as well, for the
Mhm.
record.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, that's it for agenda item number 2. Let's move on to agenda number 3. General Plan Amendment number 21-1. Okay. This is a request by Alan H. Shen to change the land use designation on the general plan land use map from commercial to single-family residence for 5 separate properties. 3 of them are on Pimenta Avenue, and 2 of them are on Paseo Street in Paramount. Have a report, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. The next 2 items involve a general plan amendment and a zone change for several properties on Pimenta Avenue and Paseo Street. The request is to change the general plan and zoning to single-family residential to tie into neighboring properties. And planning intern Christian Santana will give you the details. He's going to give you both items in a single presentation, but you'll have to open and close the public hearings separately for each of the general plan and the zone change. Go ahead, Christian.
Thank you, John. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Tonight I'll be presenting General Plan Amendment number 21-1 and Zone Change number 238 for Pimienta and Paseo Street. So the request was by Alan Sheen of 15348 Pimienta Avenue. Initially, upon the request was limited to just his property at 15348 Pimienta Avenue. But under further planning review, we came to the conclusion that it should also include 4 of the nearby properties, which are also legal nonconforming. And the first item is the General Plan Amendment 21-1. And this would change the land use designation on the General Plan land use map from commercial to single-family residential. The zone change would change the zone from C3 general commercial to R1 single-family residential. And the properties themselves are in between Pimienta Avenue and Lakewood Boulevard. They are 8851 Paseo Street, 8857 Paseo Street, 15160 Pimienta Avenue, 15348 Pimienta Avenue, and 15342 Pimienta Avenue. And both items are recommendations to City Council. So here is an overview of the site of the sites, the properties. We have two sections, one directly above Paseo Street and on the corner of Pimienta Avenue, directly south of the LA Metro right-of-way. And then the second set of properties is directly south of Pimienta Avenue. It's the last two on that street. And roughly all 5 properties are 3,000 square feet in lot area. They each contain a single-family home, and there are 3 owner-occupied homes and 2 rental properties. So here are some visuals for the properties. On average, most of these properties are were built in 1918 or are over 100 years old. These properties are legal non-conforming, so the zone is C3 general commercial, but they are in reality single-family homes. And the star indicating the map is kind of showing you guys where the properties are within the area. And here are the 2 other properties directly south of Pimienta. So here's the existing land use designation. As you can see, it really shows that this area is primarily designated as general commercial, but directly across the street on Pimienta, it's pretty much all single-family residential. And here's a proposed land use designation for this area. Here's the existing zoning. Again, it's primarily C3 general commercial with some PDPS on the corner of Pimienta and Paseo. And here's the proposed zoning for this area. So the zoning map was adopted in 1962, and the properties were originally zoned M1 light manufacturing and rezoned in 1981 to the present day C3 general commercial. Consistency between the general plan, zoning, and on-site conditions is an utmost importance for the city. And the selected sites, again, retain a lot of their original residential features and characters. Again, there are over 100 years old. So over the decades and the century, there hasn't been much change in this area. This decision would also eliminate commercial encroachment into a primarily residential neighborhood, and the change would allow for increased opportunities for residential expansion as well as ADU construction. A lot of banks find it challenging to hand out loans for legal non-conforming properties, so that issue wouldn't be an issue anymore with the approval of this item. For outreach, on July 8th, staff mailed out letters to the affected property owners and tenants. This was done prior to the public hearing notice being mailed out. On July 21st, staff went door to door to notify the occupied homes, and staff additionally mailed out a public hearing notice for the Planning Commission meeting tonight for the property owners, as well as 500 feet within the property. All property owners and tenants were also notified. And property owners would also be notified for the September 7th city council meeting if both of these items were approved tonight. And this is primarily routine with zone changes and general plan amendments to send out a public hearing notice. So in conclusion, staff recommends approval of adopting resolution number PC 21014, recommending City Council adopt resolution changing the land use designation on the general plan land use map from commercial to single-family residential at 8851 Paseo Street, 8857 Paseo Street, 15160 Pimienta Avenue, 15348 Pimienta Avenue, and 15342 Pimienta Avenue, as well as adopting resolution number PC 21015, recommending City Council adopt ordinance changing the official zoning map from C3 to R1 at the subject properties mentioned. And thank you. Any questions?
Questions, gentlemen? Okay, we'll open the public hearing portion for the amendment to 21-1. Any public comments?
We don't have any speaker cards. I don't know if there's anybody in the audience that wanted to speak in favor or in opposition.
Okay, then let's have a motion then to close the public hearings for amendment number 21-1.
Sparza, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and second that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, let's open the public hearings for zone change number 238.
No speaker cards in favor or opposed.
Who wants to speak on that?
We're voting on the two together?
Yes, we're doing the two.
We're doing
You'll have to do separate motions when you actually take the vote.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a motion then to close the public hearing for the zone change number, that's agenda item number 4, zone change number 238. Motion to close the public hearing.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, so let's have a motion then. Let's move back to agenda item number 3. Now we need a motion to adopt Planning Commission number 21014, approving the request for the general map change.
This is Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and motion to approve general plan amendment number 21-1.
1 or 14? 1, right? 1.
21-1, that's the one we're working on.
Okay, I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. Okay, now we'll have another motion. This is for agenda item number 4, to approve and adopt the Planning Commission Resolution 21015, recommending that we change the zoning on the City of Paramount map. Okay, motion then to approve that.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and motion to approve zone change number 238.
I'll second it, Sparza.
Please.
Commissioner Sparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Chair Weisenberger.
Yes. All right, let's move to reports. Agenda item number 5, City Council actions.
No council actions from last week.
Okay, very good, thank you. Agenda item number 6, comments from our city attorney.
No comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, commissioners? Any comments from our commissioners?
Comment.
All right, staff?
Yes, one comment. Our planning intern, Christian Santana, has accepted a full-time job with the city of Millbrae up near San Francisco. This is his last week here, and we're going to miss having him and wish him good luck.
For you, congratulations.
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 Very good. Okay, in that case, we will move to adjourn until our next meeting, September 14th at 6 p.m. Gutierrez?
Yeah, Gutierrez has it.
Call to order the Paramount Development Review Board. Can we get a roll call, members, please?
Board Member Sparza,
Here.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Here.
Vice Chair Gutierrez.
Present. Can we get a motion to excuse Jaime Abrego?
I'll move to excuse Commissioner Abrego.
I'll second it.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Yes.
Board Member Sparza,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez.
Yes. We'll go ahead and move to approval of minutes. Do we need to move the minutes as well?
Make a motion to continue.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to continue the approval of the minutes until the next meeting.
Yeah, I second.
Board Member Sparza,
Yes.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez.
Yes. Okay, move along to new business. DRA application number 21006, a request by Satwinder Sign Basran LLC, KFC, to construct a 2,100 square foot restaurant building with indoor customer seats and vehicle drive-through service at 7803 Alondra Boulevard in the CM Commercial Manufacturing Zone.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair and board members, this is the second part of the Kentucky Fried Chicken project, and this will look at the design and site layout of the project, and John King will give you the details.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, or acting chair, I suppose. Good chairs and board members. Again, this is the kind of the second half, the companion review for the KFC project. So the conditional use permit was for the use, and this application is for the look, the design, and architecture. So it's to proposal to construct a fast food restaurant with indoor customer seating and vehicle drive-through service, again at Alondra, Vermont, in the CM zone in the Central Business District. The site's about 15,000 square feet, 2,100 square foot building, and as you know, it's 21 customer seats that are proposed, with 8 parking spaces, and one of those would be ADA compliant. One thing to point out, this would be, the applicant has agreed and included in the application to a LEED certification. LEED is leadership in energy and environmental design. So in short, it's a green building. So it would be low energy use, and low water use. They would divert the construction materials, they recycle more than most projects, and have waste management practices, more efforts on organic waste. And as you saw in the conditional use permit, they would have 2 bicycle racks, which would give them more. It's kind of a point system, and they're looking to achieve that certification. Just as kind of a point of reference, the Starbucks down the road, they went through a similar process. They're the first in Paramount to be LEED certified, and they actually had an unveiling event today, where if you go in front of the neighboring Starbucks, there's a really nice granite circle or plaque outside the building, and it's quite an achievement. So if we could extend that to this application, we'll all be very proud, and we'll look, it would be something that we could all talk about and be proud of. It doesn't happen every day, in other words. And here's another look at the site. Here's another look at the property. Again, looking from across the street. And the site plan, the proposed building is in blue. It would have a 10-foot landscape planter along Alondra, 5-foot along Vermont. And this would be nicely landscaped and have drought-tolerant plants and drought-tolerant irrigation, which is, as you know, more and more important these days with our water situation. We would make sure it's, we would review the plan. Staff always reviews the landscape plans and assures that the landscaping meets our high city requirements. As mentioned before, the pole sign would be totally removed. The large wall along the frontage would be dismantled. There is still open-ended question about the walls along the alley and the rear, but there is a condition included that staff will review any particulars as far as the replacement, the design, any refurbishment for those walls. And there's a trash bin again at the northwest corner for trash and recyclables, and that would be high-quality construction as well, with a cover, and be designed to complement the best you can for trash enclosure, the main design of the building. And there's lighting, pole lights, and exterior lights as well. And again, 24 seats on the inside. And here's the design. It's kind of hard to tell with the rendition, but it really is a contemporary design. It's not your KFC, that you remember the bucket, or even the nostalgic bucket. So what this is proposed, they actually turned to some designs really out of the country. They literally look to designs that are not approved in the United States yet. And so that's what we have here. It's the main outside material is fiber cement siding, kind of a board and batten style, and painted, so has a really nice look. And that brownish area, that's actually natural wood, a 3-tone proposal. basically light, medium, and dark, kind of like the chicken. And they have decorative lights proposed and some other accent materials, some brick, black diamond brick, and Alaska white brick. The white brick is primarily on the back, and the black brick is at the base. And these are decorative brick elements. They would have decorative awnings and covers, exterior metal red, and exotic red siding is the color types. Decorative storefront windows, and parapets. So that's the roof type extension above the roof line to screen all the mechanical equipment, so you don't see that. So we think this is a strong design, especially with the lead elements, the leadership in energy and environmental design. With that, we recommend approval, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from board members? I do have a question about the trash enclosure because I know we've gotten comments about smell, and I think with they're doing the knocking down the liquor store and doing the development, we had somebody in opposition with the smell. Is there sewage or any requirement for any water hose connection for them to rinse it down?
What the and this comes from the city engineer to have a cover. The purpose is for the cover is for attractiveness, and also to keep water from getting inside and causing a mess. So, and it's designed to drain. It has be designed with the grading plan to so the water doesn't pool.
Okay, so there's not going to be a drain requirement in the trash enclosure?
There will be to meet building code, and the building safety manager, does that sound familiar? That there's actually a drain as part of the details. It'll have fall to drain out. It meet the minimum fall, which is the minimum slope to get the water out of there.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Can we get a motion to approve development review application number 21006?
I will move to approve that.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second.
Board Member Esparza,
Yes.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gutierrez.
Yes. Any comments? We said no comments from board members. Any comments from staff?
Nothing from staff.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting to our next meeting on September 14th.
The Paramount Economic Development Board is called to order. I need a roll call of members, please.
Board Member Abrego, Board Member Gutierrez,
Present.
Board Member Weisenberger, Vice Chair Esparza.
Here. Item 1 is the approval of minutes of July 13, and we'll have
We're going to continue this too, John. Yeah. We could do a recommendation to continue the minutes.
recommendation to continue the approval of minutes of July 13.
Oh, is there a first and a
Do we
second?
have to excuse?
Okay, I will, do we need to excuse Commissioner Abrego first, or does that,
Oh, we have
Yes,
Yes.
Right.
please.
okay.
use the Brego.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's,
I'll move to excuse Commissioner Abrego.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Board Member Gutierrez,
Yes.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza.
Yes.
I will also move to move the minutes to the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Do we need to second that?
A second.
Commissioner Gutierrez, I'll go ahead and second that.
Thank you. Board Member Gutierrez,
Yes.
Board Member Weisenberger,
Yes.
Vice Chair Esparza.
Yes. Any public comments?
No public comments.
New business reports. Item 2 is the oral report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice
Federal
Chair.
Infrastructure Plan update.
Thank you. So John King will give you an oral report on the federal infrastructure plan update.
Thank you, John. Thank you, board members. Just a very quick oral report. When we put these agendas together, we it's almost like we use our crystal ball to see what's on the horizon, and the infrastructure bill, we thought there was a good chance it would be approved by today, but it's not. So the Senate so far has approved a version of the infrastructure bill, and it's on to the House, and then they all come together, as you know. But so far, just to give a little update, what we see is in the plan, which could be meaningful for local jurisdictions like Paramount. Some highlights include $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major projects, and that's above what's already been approved. $66 billion for passenger and freight rail. So there could be some with the rail line through Paramount. There could be some more funding to help out with the with expenditures, and more specifically for the West Santa Ana Branch Light Rail project. There was an original budget, and when it went through the public review process about a year or two ago, for the downtown portion, particularly the area around the Arts District and Little Tokyo, the community there was very much in favor of undergrounding the system, and with that add in what's another $1 billion. So this could be where some of the funds could help out with the West Santa Ana Branch Light Rail project. Now this is a little open-ended, but $46 billion for resiliency, and there's a lot of different definitions and back and forth. So, but that is something that could have an impact on Paramount. But the question is, what is considered resiliency? $11 billion for highway and pedestrian safety projects. We do have a lot of folks a lot of pedestrians and bicyclists, and there can be some conflict. So maybe there's something that could help us out here. $39 billion for public transit, broadband, $65 billion for broadband infrastructure. And we've talked about broadband in recent months. Electric vehicles, that is the future. So $7.5 billion for EV infrastructure. So that could help with charging stations and getting that out there in, just laying the groundwork. As we know, you ask around, a lot of people are open to the idea of an electric car, especially with incentives. But the question is, there's a fear. In Los Angeles, we tend to drive long distances. We don't want to get stranded. We want to make sure that there's a charging station for us. $7.5 billion for electric buses and transit, and many more, and much more. So we'll see how that pans out through the legislative process, and we'll try to get you an update as that progresses. That's all I have.
Item 3 is any comments from board members? Staff?
Nothing for staff.
Okay, so the Paramount Economic Development Board is adjourned till September 14, 2021 at 6 p.m.